live,
All right.
but it's just backstage. So
Yeah.
I mean, everybody can hear what we're saying right now. So Will Craig, James Russell, what up, brother? Welcome to the backstage. Will Craig, dude, what's going on, brother? Been trying to get me my car's extended warranty. Suck it. Suck it. You guys got any questions, James? You guys, anybody coming to the meetup, dude? You guys coming to the meetup in April? What's up, Mike W? Welcome to backstage before the show. What is that?
Lego Chinese cycling set.
Oh, that's super funny.
The memes for this has been just classic.
Dude, that's super funny. Mike Debbie, you got anything for us, dude? Coming to the meetup? Old Mike W. April 4th. Oh, my brother sent me a message.
I haven't talked to my brother in forever. Well, it's because we got in an argument over a cartoon dog, and I haven't talked to him since. Oops.
David J. What up, David J? What's up, guns up, giddy up. David J. Anybody coming to the meetup? Any of the people that are in this group? There's a lot of people coming, but I don't know if there's anybody in this group. I haven't seen any of these names in the hotel stuff.
I've been telling like lighting people from the lighting world that I'm going to be out that way, and they're like, "Oh, I might have to drive up there now." I'm like, "You drive up to see me for lights, but you wouldn't drive up to see me for the podcast stuff."
Right.
I think podcast is more important.
Anyway, guys, we're just backstage right now, so the show hasn't started. So if there's something you want to do, if you want to ask us any questions or chat with us, just go ahead. We're just hanging out backstage with you guys before the show, which starts at noon. So if there's anything, good show today though. A lot of news, man. A lot of news.
Waiting for your time. See, I always looked at time off as like, I'm not asking for time off. I'm just telling you when I'm not going to be here. So it's your job to now either fill this or it's not my problem anymore.
Let me see if I can. Oh, lowered myself in this chair. I was sitting real high. No, I mean, I had a meeting this morning at 9:30 with Parks and Rec for the skate park that we're trying to build. So we went and looked at a bunch of property and a bunch of land, and then that went up till about noon. And then the Carolina Mudcats baseball team finally got a hold of them to do a collaboration with them for Johnston County Skate Park. So I've been in meetings like all day. It's nice to just sit here and.
Was Leslie there? Shit. Leslie Nope.
Parks and Rec, dude. When I was building my distillery is about when I got into Parks and Rec, the TV show, and I actually had to stop watching the TV show because it was so realistic. Like it made me. I was like, dude, this is 100% what Parks and Rec is really like. It was so accurate that I had a hard time watching it because it just made me angry. Because I was like, this is what's going on right now with my projects.
Somebody wants to put up a bodega or something else instead.
Call me wife. Yo, hey, on one, that was an awesome meeting today with the Johnston County Skate Park. We looked at 3 different plots of land and talked to some other people. So anyway, all good things. If Duke and them want to go skate, then you need to bring them here by 1:00.
Yeah, I was already figuring that because you podcasted, right?
Yeah, and then I'm gonna need something to eat. So if you got some meat cheese roll-ups, that'd be great.
I have 2 sausages we made that are really yummy.
Oh, damn, girl. Let me get that sausage.
All right, I'll bring you some sausage.
All right, I love you.
Yeah, we'll see you by 1.
All right, so.
Love you too, bye.
Had to talk to me wife. Talking. All right, what's up new with you?
So with the pain condition, part of the problem that I run into is progressive. So there's always new things. So as soon as I figure out something, there's always something new that comes up. So the last 6 months that I've been dealing with is as soon as you put the ball of your heel down, it shoots pain straight up my tibia, up through the knee joint, up the femur, and it comes out in my hips. But somewhere my femur is where you ever had your bell rung where you didn't pass out, but you get that that close in feeling? I'll get that. It will get that with every step. So last week, Thursday, it got to the point where I was walking to the kitchen and I got to the fireplace and I didn't completely pass out, I don't think, but I caught myself enough. So I've been dealing with that. And then I found out this morning that my stimulator implant thing that I have that I charge with this every day.
You ever put that on your dick?
Kinda. It's on my ass. It's just over my left butt cheek. And it's Bluetooth and it charges this. It's like a pacemaker and it shoots wires up my spine and kind of masks my legs from my brain. It had turned itself off. So they turned it back on this morning. Morning, Matty. Fire EMS 38. Matt, he got just got a big job. They created a job for him. I think he's the superintendent of the beaches.
Oh, that's fucking dope. What beach?
Up in Michigan.
Michigan has beaches?
Yep.
Fuck Michigan, dude. I bet your beaches suck. The rest of the state sucks.
Well, because the problem out there is they have all like the ice and all that shit blowing in. So they have to get people out and the rip tides and all that stuff. So they created a position, or they created this position, and then
I was actually on an ocean rescue team. Made the tryouts, and then I ended up not doing it because I joined the military. But I did the tryouts and did the fucking 4-month thing for ocean rescue. It was hard, dude. It was so hard, and the pay was such shit. But I mean, dude, we were up at 4 a.m. freaking doing laps in the pool, and then we go out to the beach, do a big beach run, go have breakfast, come back, do all your EMS first responder shit during the afternoon, go back to the beach at noon, do another workout, go eat lunch. I mean, dude, it was tough, man, for no money. But I mean, I was only 18, so.
I remember when I first got to Hawaii back in 2006. I went out with my first wife. We went up to Waimea, which is
it's huge.
Out near North Shore. Well, when we first got out there, we moved out there in late summer, so it was early fall. So it was the fact that we had big swells was just kind of abnormal for the time now that I look back. But they had 10 to 12 at the shore. That's what it was breaking at the shore. But there was they were coming in different sets. So if it wasn't with the set, it didn't look that bad. So me, stupid mainlander, has never been on the beach before. I look out, I'm like, oh, I'll get my boogie board. There's nobody in the water. It's gonna be cool. I look around and ask everybody, yeah, can you get in the water? Yeah, you can get in the water. So I go out and get in the water. Well, as soon as I get in the water, the swell starts coming in. I get pounded by these fucking waves. I've never, in an instant, you have so much appreciation for water. How much that weight, the weight. I just remember it because when it hits, because I was on the shore, so I wasn't hitting anything but sand. I wasn't hitting reef or anything. But just the way that the weight pounded you, it just knocked the air out of your breath, and then you're underwater and you can't. And
then you start to panic, and
then you start to panic. Yeah.
Actually, it's funny. I was on a surf trip to Costa Rica, and I was with a couple of dudes, and we surfed this volcanic break that was huge. I was the only one that surfed it because everybody else was like, "Nope, that's too big." I ended up catching 2 waves. They were the biggest waves of my life. They're probably 13 feet. And anyway, though, the waves were pounding on the beach, and the riptide was so bad coming off the sand that it would suck you out. And these dudes were surfers, and they were standing too close, and it swept them off their feet and sucked them in and just pounded them. And the one dude straight up panicked. The other dude just kind of balled up and did the popcorn thing and just let himself tumble his way out of it, and then got up. But the other dude was kind of had a quick panic. Anyway, guys, we're backstage. The show hasn't started yet. So if anybody has any questions or wants to chat about April 12th meetup or anything like that, we're watching your chat. So we're just hanging out for the next 20 minutes. Playing poker on my phone. This is my lunch break. I've been meeting since I woke up this morning. I'll be podcasting most of the day, but if you guys have anything in the chats, just let us know. If you want to fucking ask Deadleg if his dick's dead, ask him, dude. Oh, speaking of asking inappropriate questions, I watched the Pamela Anderson documentary thing last night.
Where was it on?
Netflix.
we'll have to get in that. Well,
It's just from her perspective. So it's like her telling her life story. And pretty intense. Oh, Teresa K, you're going to be in North Carolina April 12th. Hell yeah. Dude, you bringing that? Didn't you just have a new baby? That was you, right? You had a new baby, I think.
I think it was her.
No, that was Brittany
her,
Faulkner.
Brittany Faulkner.
That's right. That's right. I get those two confused. No, that's sick. TK, that'd be awesome, dude. We're going to have a good time. Have a good time. Gonna have a good time.
Jesus,
Fuck no.
fuck no.
Dude, you want to have one? I'll give you a hug. Guaranteed to get you. You're like 50-50 shot of getting pregnant if I give you a hug.
Just look in your direction.
Just look at you funny and you get pregnant. Dude, I cannot believe my wife's having a 5th child. I'm hoping it's not mine. If it isn't mine, I'm leaving everybody. Like I'm giving up on all the kids. Like I'll be that dad that just disappears. Go to Matt, like start completely over. Go nuts. Sow my wild seed all over Europe. Come back and like ask for forgiveness for my kids.
See, I don't know. Like now, if there were kids involved, I don't know. Because my first wife cheated on me a lot.
It's because you had a dead leg, dude. She wanted a dude with a friggin'. You should have let her.
Well, here's the plot twist. She did it while she was we were dual military, and she was a supply.
Oh, so you still had a good leg.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This was way back before the dead leg, and this is back before. Was I contracted for the Navy? Can't remember if I was contracted for the Navy or not by then. But she was deployed, and the unit she was with was helicopter unit. They had Chinooks and stuff like that, like combat sport stuff.
Right.
And so her boyfriend's wife is who told me about it. And then he called me and told me about all kinds of other people. And then she's like, yeah. And I was like, sorry, I'm not going to deal with that. So cut ties. And I stayed in Hawaii. I don't know where she's at now. I have no clue. She came back. And when she came back, so I moved out because we lived in base housing. So yeah, the plot thickens. Her mom lived with me at the time because her dad had passed away. So I was taking care of her mom while she was fucking other dudes. Yeah. Then that whole part of it wasn't the worst. Her like when her mom goes, "I'm sorry, I didn't raise a better daughter." I'm like, that's what killed me the most. Not the part where she's fucking everybody and I found that her mom felt disappointed in her daughter. I was like,
oh, hold on. I got to make a reel really quick. Just adjust the chats for me really quick. I got to
Yep,
make this
no worries.
because it's 11 o'clock. Got to get it out.
Teresa's got 3 adult kids, no more. It's funny, it's my wife and we're talking. Well, because we don't have any kids. We're talking about trying sometime next year or maybe late this year. But we want to have a house first, kind of have the house set and be able to have that set up before we do the baby dust. How's everybody else doing on this Wednesday? It is Wednesday, right? Yeah, it is Wednesday.
Yeah,
Wednesday.
Yeah. Let's see here.
My days blend together.
Yeah, mine do too. Nope.
I know Matt's building. He's got the green light for building his own man cave, computer den office at home.
Oh, Bone Cold. What's up, dog? Hey, we're backstage, Bone Cold, just hanging out for the next 15 minutes. So, you got any questions or anything, or you want to hit us up? Just let us know.
Hump day. Just waiting for Sunday. Fly, Eagles, fly. Is that when the Super Bowl? I don't watch football. Is that the Super Bowl Sunday?
I guess.
I don't know. I don't watch the NFL. They start shitting on the United States flag. I have a problem with supporting that. Oh, don't make you miss stay and drinking. Okay. You've got Matt put in he's got this 2-week notice in where he's at. It's all the other stuff. What are they going to do? You get suspended, Matt? You can kind of just come in and do whatever you want now. Oh. Halfway to double digits. Got 6.
backstage, guys. Got any questions or whatever? We'll be backstage for the next 12 minutes. So, if you're going to the meetup or you got any questions or
And give you the secrets from Area 51. Let all those out real quick before we're live.
9/11 secrets. Let me see if I can.
God, the more and more that I read the news and start, like, it's one of those things where I don't want to dig because I'm afraid of what I'm going to find.
Oh, fuck. What's going on here?
There was, let me see if I can find it. Let me find on his channel. Videos, because it was fairly recently. There's a guy that I watch. Mudahar is his name. His YouTube channel is Some Ordinary Gamers, but he covers like tech, like new, like behind the scenes tech stuff, crypto stuff. Does like deep dive investigations. He understands like virtual machines and like he's pretty good with computers and stuff. But he'll be able to explain like this is why when you do these Google search results you're being this, or this is what this is, or this is what this is, or he's gone into like the terms and services and look into specific things and knowing exactly on the back end of like what TikTok is looking at on your phone. But he found there was a cyber attack that happened. But the way that they did it is it was like they had like the landing, it was like a website, and it was used for like special operations people stuff. So they would go to this landing page on this website, and then they would know what to click, and then they'd put in their credentials, and then they'd be able to see whatever the messages are back and forth. I guess this was all searchable, and they found like a bunch of these different landing sites that were from the CIA and NSA and all that stuff, and they were able to hack them.
Damn, dog.
The TSA's no-fly list was hacked a couple months ago.
All right, I gotta send out an email really quick. This is what we do backstage, by the way, guys, for you people who want to know what happens before a show. Question for you, Tansey. Does your distillery ship? No, it doesn't, because it's against the law to ship alcohol out of the state of North Carolina. It's bullshit, North Carolina laws, dude. But
is it a North Carolina law or is it a Department of Transportation law?
No, it's a North Carolina law. Like Washington, D.C., you can ship out all the time.
But they're not a state. Because they're like with the medical marijuana stuff. Because they're like the states that are legal, you can't ship from state to state because it's still legal between different states.
Let's see. I gotta check my voicemail. Somebody just said, check your voicemail.
Miss Gerald, we'll stop by. What's funny is you have a distillery and I don't drink for the most part.
Overthink that. Damn it.
How'd the reviews go?
Hey, Drew. Hey, Ben, I'm live backstage, but I'm backstage, so the show doesn't start for 10 minutes. So you're on speaker. So.
Okay. Have you heard anything about your upload of last night's episode yet?
No, why?
because I'm like 5 minutes in and it's kind of a mess because you can't hear you at all. Like only Andrea's side.
Oh, okay. Let me call a producer real quick.
I haven't checked to see if it's further than that, but I'm like 5-8 minutes in.
All right, let me let you go so I can do it real
All
quick.
right, man.
Oh, fuck, he's right, dude. There's no audio on my side.
The YouTube is good, but I haven't pulled up the Spotify one. Morning, Tactical Lumber Chef. We're just hanging out backstage, kind of fixing some problems before we go live. I guess there was an audio
12.
issue last night.
No, 12.
So if you got any questions or crazy things that you want to,
Tactical,
Chat about?
dude. Yo.
happy to go on.
Work tackles you. What's up, Lumber? Fuck, Elijah, answer the damn phone. Fuck. I hear both of you. No, he's talking about last night's episode that just dropped the podcast.
The audio version.
You said there's no audio?
Yeah, for like the first 5 minutes, like tons of people are calling me and texting me about it. And I just went and played it on iTunes and it's dead air for like the first 5 minutes.
Okay.
You can only hear Andrea.
Weird.
Yeah, like it's completely silent. Where whenever I'm talking, it's just there's nothing there. But anyway, yeah, it's just something to check on. I just got like inundated, and I'm about to go live in 5 minutes. All right, dude. Later. No worries.
Yeah, it's the same way on Spotify.
Well, you guys get to see what happens backstage.
Ooh. What was the date between you and Andrea last night, Tansey? So I got beef ribs and brisket and smoked this weekend, which I'll cook for the game. I'm not watching the game, Limber. I don't watch NFL. That they're not fun league to me. Bunch of crybabies.
What was the debate that we had? I don't even remember. What did we debate?
I don't know.
What did we debate?
We were watching The Last of Us.
I'm trying to think of what we debated. Oh, I can't remember. I don't remember what we debated.
Good morning, Murr.
Give me
Ben
a
says
hint.
call me
I forgot
back
what it was.
after the show.
Ben, I'm never gonna call you ever again, dude. I don't like stalker fans, and you're a stalker fan.
Yeah,
I'm
hockey.
just
I do. I will watch hockey. And I'm a because
oh yeah, the 16-year-old getting a tattoo. Sorry, God.
I was born in Texas, but I grew up in Ohio. So I got like the Ohio ties are where I have more ties there than anywhere else. So I pull for Ohio State. I pull for Columbus Blue Jackets.
He said that we had
That's
a
about it.
debate over the 16-year-old getting a tattoo. Dude, like if 16-year-olds have no business getting a tattoo, period. End of story. Like not even gonna debate it. It's dumb. Like don't let your kid make life-altering decisions at 16 years old.
But you can get a sex change without parent permission in a lot of
I mean,
states
that's
now.
stupid too. Like,
Yeah,
it's stupid too. If you can't wait 2 years to get a tattoo, then like if you want that tattoo bad enough, you'll wait 2 years to get it. Like there's gotta be some kind of a discipline. But these kids getting tattoos before they're out of college, it's trashy. It's trashy. It's trashy as a parent to let your kid do it. And if your kid does it behind your back, I mean, that's a parenting flaw like that you should be embarrassed about. I mean, not to say that I didn't embarrass my parents, right? Like I embarrass them daily by doing this podcast. I mean, my parents hate it, but I know that they hate it. And that reels me in a little bit. I'd probably be a lot crazier if I knew it didn't bother them. I would push my limits, but you got to set boundaries and standards for your kids, man. Like freaking yeah, good. You can drive at 16. That's a lot different than putting a permanent mark on your body. It's going to be the rest of your life. I mean, I thought I was going to be a pro surfer at 16. And I probably would have gotten like a Volcom stone or something like that tattooed on my body at like 16, which would be the most dumb, ridiculous, stupid thing ever. And I would be incredibly ashamed about it now, so I'm glad I didn't.
I was going to be a race car driver when I was 16.
Andrea just gets mad because it's like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Cause she's a good parent, but she hates it when I talk about parents. Cause I guess she's like, well, you don't know what teenagers are going to do. And I'm like, no, you don't, but doesn't mean you tolerate it. I mean, look, if you're a baseball player, you're going to fuck up playing baseball. It doesn't matter if you're the best baseball player in the world. You're going to miss a ground ball here and there. And some of those ground balls are going to have game consequences that mean the entire outcome of the game, right? But you're trying to win the World Series. So it's like, yeah, you're going to screw up as a parent and you're going to lose a couple of games and there's going to be some big setbacks, but it's the totality. It's about getting to the World Series, which in my opinion is having kids that get married, that are good husbands and good fathers. Like that's the World Series. So like you might have a couple of bad years, you might have a rough patch in your 20s, they might fall off the path, but it's about getting in there and eventually winning the championship. And that's what it's all about. So, it's just these parents that are like, I don't know. I think too many parents give up too fast or, they think that they're bad parents. So they write it off. Like, dude, I've heard a lot of parents be like, well, my kid's out of control. So I don't know where they're at. It's like, well, yeah, your kid's out of control, but like, doesn't mean that you just give up.
1 minute warning.
Didn't come to play until after World War II. Prior to that, teenagers were referred to as young adults as they were expected to do more around the house. That's true. It's true, but not get a tattoo. Like, that's dumb. No, I mean, especially nowadays kids, dude. Like, fuck no, man. They're so influenced by all these other rappers that rappers, musicians, music stars, punk rockers, whatever. All right, let's go and start the show really quick. Jump into this shit. It's 11:59. Let's see here. Oh, I've already started the broadcast. That's why it's being.
The growing calls across the nation to defund the police.
To end policing as we know it.
Off the charts violence in New York City. 11 people shot in just 8 hours on Sunday.
This is about the police officers who every single day put on that uniform and they run towards danger when we run away from it.
Guns up, get up. Welcome to the Failure to Stop podcast channel, the #1 podcast where police meet society and culture. Today is Last Call Thursday, which means last call is all the news that you need to know so that when you go into the weekend, you don't have to sound like an asshole first responder to your civilian friends. You can sound like a real boy, like a real girl, like a real civilian. You're not talking about dead babies and domestic violence, giving you all the things that you need to know without having to go to mainstream media to find them with this anti-police or some kind of an agenda twist behind it. Agended, by the way, is a word that I made myself. It's actually in the Tansey dictionary. Look it up. Agended. So today's show is brought to you by ghostbed.com/Wolfpack. They're back on for season 3 of Failure to Stop. Man, they've been with us since the beginning. Super loyal sponsor. Beds made in the good old, help me out here, USA. Beds so amazing. Deals so incredible that China sent a spy balloon over here to see how it is that they give 35% off through the Valentine's holiday on adjustable bases, mattresses, cooling pillows, all the cooling technology and all their sheets and their toppers. Insane deals. China needed to know, how do these guys stay in business while making an American-made product? They sent a spy balloon over here. Come to find out, that deal is one of America's greatest kept secrets, so our Navy shot it down. Our Air Force shot it down. But that all started with GhostBed. So historical moment for GhostBed. But you can head over to ghostbed.com/Wolfpack. Start saving today on beds that are really going to change your life as a first responder. We always talk about mental health, mental wellness. It all starts with a good night's sleep. Don't support another bed company before you look into GhostBed, because they truly, truly support first responders and veterans. When all the other advertisers backed out over Uvalde, GhostBed stayed true. And they're like, dude, we don't care, dude. Do whatever you want. Say whatever you want. We totally back the blue. We're always going to be pro-police. We don't care if if pro-police is negative. We're going to keep promoting, because never will we think that being pro-police is the wrong way to be. So obviously they do not support any of the bad cops in Memphis or anything like that, but they do support as a whole law enforcement. So ghostbed.com/Wolfpack. If you want to support the show, very simple. One, hammer the like button. If you're watching it on YouTube's. Today's show doesn't go out on YouTube, so this only goes out to our paid subscribers. Again, if you want to be an extra bonus, you can be a paid subscriber. You can get to see backstage shows. We were backstage for about 30 minutes today, hanging out with some of the folks in the live chats. But even more important than that, we don't want your money. We want your review and your rating on iTunes or Spotify. Please, 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 if you're listening to this, it's free content. Back the blue, back the first responders of all kinds, the reds and the greens, by going and giving a review and a rating. Other than that, we have the meetup coming up April 4th, April 12th, Wednesday, April 12th. A lot of people flying in for that. If you are coming into that and you want to know where everybody's staying at the hotels, it's going to be at Instill Distilling Company from 5 to 8, and then at the studio from 8 to 10, 8 to 10:30, something like that, which is all within almost walking distance of the hotel. You could walk back to the hotel if you wanted to. It's a 1-minute Uber drive, or we can shuttle back and forth. It's that close. So if you want to get in on the meetup, it's in Clayton, North Carolina on April 12th, which is a Wednesday. So today, a lot of stuff going on in the news, man. A lot of stuff for you guys to talk about this weekend with your civilian friends. We'll give you the bullet points to all of that. Of course, we know about the spy balloon, and we're going to talk about it a little bit. We're going to talk a little bit about the disaster in Turkey and else around the world. But more importantly, when it comes to the spy balloon, what happened, why we were distracted by the spy balloon. And the main topic of today's show is a drop dead booster shot. Drop dead. People are dying to get this booster. Literally, people are fucking dying. At an unprecedented rate of unknown reasons and why. And so we'll break that down. Fact versus fiction. There was a guy on the PGA Tour, spitting image, like the exact replica of all the other ones that we've seen. The one that we saw at the World Cup, one we saw on the football field, the one we saw with the yoga instructor or whatever kind of instructor that was, where the girl just falls out in the gym. We got the college baseball athlete, and now we've got a PGA caddy. Same way. Same motion, standing there, boom, out, respiratory, a heart attack. But this was a young PGA Tour caddy. And what's going on? We don't know. We're going to talk about it today. And then we've got a little bit of weird news to wrap it up, such as a woman, an 82-year-old woman who was pronounced dead, was sent to the morgue, and they found out that she was not dead. So we'll talk about that. Can't believe that that's still happening in 2023. Before we jump in all that, I'm joined today by Josh from Dead Like Media. Josh, how are you doing today? And what you got for us?
It's another great Wednesday. Yeah, the spy balloon, and then oh yeah, we have a spy balloon. Then they've always got to go and try to. Well, it was under Trump too. Well, they didn't tell Trump. And then there was how many balloons were they? Where were they at? And then the unexpected death. Like if you Google unexpected death, just unexpected death. One of the first articles you get is from Forbes talking about why this isn't a thing. And then it's surrounded by articles of just people of young ages, but under 40 years old, just unexpectedly dying.
Mirror 530 in the private chat says, Tansey, it's the science says it's the eggs that now cost 3 times as much, and the farms that are being torched. There has been some very crazy news about the eggs. As a matter of fact, I got rid of 30 something chickens, and now we're getting a whole bunch more back because I'm not going to play these games. Eggs are good for you. When the government tells you that the eggs are not good for you, and people have been eating eggs since the beginning of time, there's a problem there. These are strange times that we're living in. My phone is recording me as we speak. Let me delete this really quick. Jesus. Crazy times that we're going through right now. First of all, let's jump into the balloon, Chinese balloon. We good to jump into that?
Sure. So they go ahead.
No, go ahead.
They started releasing some pictures from the recovery process. And when I say they release pictures, it's just people standing on a boat, and you're not going to really see anything of like what devices or if they recovered anything specifically. They said it's going to be transferred to the FBI facility in Quantico for analysis. But
I've got a lot of hopes and prayers into that. This isn't the first balloon that's flown over the United States either.
No, but it's the first one that made national news.
But it's the first one that won. It's the first one that went all the way across the United States. And it's the first one that anybody saw with their own eyes. I think that had nobody seen this, the American government would have never said anything about it. Personally.
Well, you can just back it up with the other 3 that went across that they didn't say anything under the Trump administration.
No, but while we were all fixated on the spy balloon, which I do have a problem with, dude. Like, no other country should be sending spy balloons into your shit without it getting shot down ever. Ever, for any reason. And just like I would hope that if we sent a spy balloon into China, that they would shoot it down. Like, I know that there's protests going on in China over us shooting their spy balloon down. I can't imagine that that's real, because you can't be so stupid to think that if you fly a surveillance balloon in somebody else's country that they're not going to shoot it. Am I crazy for thinking that?
I don't know. Here's how we do it. We can throw up our own spy balloon, have it drift over Russia, and see what happens.
Right? I feel like we're going to get nuked for it.
Have it drift over China, see what happens. See the news that comes out of China if we launched a balloon from some European country that we've got ties with, because we have all these troops over there now. So we have the assets. Let's just launch one up and see what happens.
What's interesting enough, though, is while that balloon was going up, Biden quietly released a man named, let's see, there's 2 of them. It's Mahad Khan. He was an Al-Qaeda terrorist, and they released him to Belize after being 6 years in custody through the CIA at Guantanamo Bay. While we were focused on the Chinese spy balloon, this was a radicalized terrorist from 9/11. His quote is, "I promise I've changed and I'm not going to break the law in Belize." Okay, whatever. He also had ties to the attack in the Indonesia hotel in 2003, which I think automatically gets you the death penalty. But after 16 years in custody, while this magical balloon is up, Biden quietly releases this dude for free, gives him absolute freedom at 42 years old in Belize. Just more weak leadership. Not only did he release this guy, but he released no, it's the same guy. Biden regime this is from the Centennial. Biden regime quietly frees one of 9/11 terrorist planners from Guantanamo Bay as the whole country watches the Chinese spy balloon. I thought this was 2 different articles. I thought he released 2 different people, but it's not. It's Mashad Khan, and they released him to Belize. So, we released the gentleman. What do they call them? What did they call the guy that they released?
The Merchant
before?
of Death.
Merchant of Death. So we release. Why are we releasing any of these people?
What are we getting?
What's in it for us?
That would be my very first question. What are we getting out of this?
Either way, I don't like it. If you're at the weekend barbecue, it's definitely something to bring up. I don't understand, why is it a particular, did Trump, I don't know. I'm asking, did Trump release high priority, high level terrorists? Did he release them from Guantanamo Bay or anything while he was in presidency? Or is this just, it seems to me that one side is trying to just sabotage all the efforts. There was a lot of talk about this balloon, and that during the Trump administration, a balloon had come over Texas and over Florida. And I did some more research on this, and it was true, but Trump was never briefed on it. How much do you believe that? Do you think that a spy balloon could fly over this country and the president not be briefed on it? Is that possible, or is the Trump administration just, doing the whole, we didn't hear about it?
You've got that intelligence committee or the intelligence community they're not following in step with what the administration is doing. They're doing their own thing to begin with. We're seeing that with Twitter and all the other stuff. So you can say that, the amount of things that happen on a daily basis that goes into that morning brief and all that stuff, there is so much stuff that gets dropped from there. So
but you think a spy balloon's not one of those things, but maybe it
especially
is. Maybe that's how little I know about what's going on in the world.
I
feel like a spy balloon over Texas and Florida is a pretty big fucking deal.
Maybe the first one, not so much, but the second or the third one, if there is more than one, for sure. Because,
and I know we got spy shit everywhere, but I expect that if it gets caught,
you're going to let them know.
There's consequences, right? Like if we're catching a basketball player with minute amounts of marijuana and then, having to make crazy trade deals, I expect that if you catch a spy in your country, it would be the same thing.
Because,
AKA Dennis Rodman.
If you think about back to, the stuff that your military stuff, a lot of things that we did was we were probing to find weaknesses. So here's at least 4 documented times that we've had spy balloons over our country. We've done something once about it.
Right.
So
And the only reason we did something about it was because the entire country, because they had to, politically they had to. Hands down, undisputed, we have the weakest president that we've ever had in this country. Far weaker than Obama, far weaker than Bush. Bush couldn't talk either, but nobody said like he was a weak ass president. You know what I'm saying? Biden is a weak ass. This administration is completely weak.
My fear for this country is if something did happen, if we were attacked by somebody else during this time right now, what would we do? If there was some aggression, or because we've been,
I was talking to some folks about it, and the left controls. Okay, who controls the media? Like in reality, like the owners, the true owners of Fox News. There's out of what are they? Democrats, correct?
The majority of them.
The majority are Democrats, right? College institutions. Are institutions more conservative or liberal?
Definitely leaning left.
Definitely. Hollywood, more conservative or more left?
All left.
Okay. These are the entities that are brainwashing and controlling and by brainwashing, I mean like influencing, right? Like these are your influencers. You're this Grammy Award stage where they're all dressed as Satan. One, the whole satanic thing we've talked about before, like the Balenciaga thing. But like, why are all the influencers, the major influencers, your media outlets, your institutions, and your Hollywood, who are all left leading, why are we allowing them to influence us when they are the root cause of all of the problems? Like you would think if they're the most influential, right? If kids are going to school to be educated, if people are watching Hollywood to be influenced and to have, to idolize these celebrities and have somebody to look up to, role models, etc. And the media is where we go to get all our information. All those people are the ones that are influencing us. Why is shit so terrible?
It's all about money. So it always comes back to money. So you have to figure out where are they making money at? How are they making the money? Are they making money by? It's like
if all the biggest influencers are the left, at what point do we not wake up and say like, oh, okay, now I see what's going on here. Every decision being made right now is being made from the left, and they're all terrible, weak decisions. You don't hear a lot of weakness coming from the right.
That, and you have the news, who has been historically for the last several years, you just wait 20 minutes and whatever they put out is debunked. So you have media that's acting as a propaganda machine. They're not fact-based. That's
exactly what I'm saying. But it's like, how do these kids not wake up and say like, okay, listen, all the idols that I look up to are satanic, right? Like, or doing some kind of satanic referencing, which are not good, right? And they're promoting weakness and vulnerability. And then the celebrities, they're also promoting weakness and vulnerability, and they're all left. And then our college and our institutions are all left. At what point do we say like, okay, everybody that's in control is left and everything sucks?
it's one of those things where I've just accepted that the country has failed. I don't believe in any institution that we have because I can look at my personal account for everything for the past several years. So it's you just gotta, you can't, because you have to still go down with your day to day. So you got to get up and put your shoes on. You got to get up and do stuff every day, just knowing that, okay, all this stuff is bad just try to, I would say, to avoid it, but just keep an eye on it. And
was there a sense of hope? You think there's a sense of hope? Like we have this sense of like somebody is going to be a hero. Somebody's going to stand up. Somebody that hasn't been corrupted. Somebody that doesn't have a sex tape on Epstein's island. Somebody's going to come out.
You've got DeSantis in Florida, and you got a couple other people that have slowly come to rise up. But this show right here, before I was even part of it, this show is what kind of gives me hope, because there are more than one people that have that same thought process of, hey, this isn't right. So then people start getting together, like, okay, we can agree that this isn't right. So let's put a stop to this. Let's vote these people out. Let's not vote this in, or let's point out the hypocrisy. Like, hey, you said that this is what you were going to do to get in the office. Now you're in office. It's been 2 or 3 years. You haven't done any of that stuff.
Yeah, I was very slow to say that the election was stolen. I didn't want to say that because there wasn't any evidence. Like I needed to see all the evidence. I needed to see some proof, and not just conspiracy theories, etc. I was very slow to condemn the vaccine. Like I wanted to wait. I waited well over a year, reading up on it, reading the books, listening to other podcasts, both sides of the story, talking to doctors of all sorts. And before I came up with my conclusion, but now that I'm 2 years into what I consider myself to be well informed, I 100% believe that the election was stolen. I believe that there's more evidence that it was stolen than there's evidence proving that it wasn't stolen. I also think that the COVID vaccine is, 95% a sham, a scam. I think there was a lot more negative that came out of the vaccine than there was positive out of the vaccine. As far as corruption goes, I think the science was not trusted at all. I think the information we were given was wrong. I think it was all manipulated by rich, hungry, power-hungry, wealthy folks that were just in it to line their pockets. And that's why you only have one vaccine for this. You don't have off-branded vaccines. So, at 2 years in, it's with a little bit of research, with a little bit of objectivity, right? Where you're looking at things objectively, hearing both sides of the story objectively, empathizing with both sides of the story. I think there's overwhelming evidence on the side of the election was stolen and that this vaccine was 95% at least a scam by Pfizer.
Because if you look at the election, everything that went to court for the election, it was all thrown out on merit. It wasn't case or precedent or procedural stuff. It wasn't thrown out because the evidence wasn't there. It wasn't thrown out because you didn't have this to support it. It was thrown out because you missed a deadline, or you didn't dot an I on this piece of paper, or you didn't file this. It was all procedural stuff. So every bit of that, because I always say, if you want me to believe you, show me the receipts.
Right.
You open up your doors, show me your receipts. And they're not showing any receipts. They're doubling down on this. It's like the satanic stuff in the Grammys. There's like at the end, there's a clip of it, and it was going around Twitter. It was great. It was that satanic dance. And then they broke to go to commercial, and it's the 2023 Grammys brought to you by Pfizer.
Right.
So who paid for that? So you're not going to see them talk about Project Veritas having one of their doctors talking about that they are doing gain of function research, and they want to mutate this. They want to mutate it to then be able to create more money out of it. So it's all money. If you want me to believe in
so I'm saying the rich ruling elite, which are in control of your school, which are in control of Hollywood, which are in control of your media, they are ruining everything. And people are like, well, I don't think the government's smart enough. You're right. The government's not smart enough. But it's the people who put money in the pockets. It's the person that's writing the check are. And you're talking about 6 or 7 really smart, really rich motherfuckers. And you can talk as much shit as you want about Alex Jones and how crazy he is. And I do agree with you on how crazy he is. But there's definitely an instance where, I totally believe that's that story where he walks in on this ritual. I don't know. When you start seeing things that happen with Balenciaga, when you start seeing things that happen with the Grammys, and you see, you can go on TikTok and you can watch these people compile these videos together. At some point, you can say like, oh, well, they're reaching. But if you add up enough, how far do they have to reach? Like, that's a lot. That's a lot of people doing satanic dances and flashing the same satanic rituals over and over and over again that fit one certain type of demographic, where they went from one way, making a little bit of money, to completely changing their identity and changing their belief system, Katy Perry, to becoming a totally different type of human being that's now really like wealthy and on the wealthy side. I think there is some ritualistic stuff. I mean, when you hear Steve-O talking about, people that have done cocaine with, right? And he talks about going to these parties. I'm telling you, I've been there. I've been to a few parties where I see some crazy, and it's the really rich people that are there, brother. It's the really rich people there that want to hang out with the celebrities. And there's some really weird shit going on. I talked about a fucking orgy that I ended up, I got invited to an influencer party, and it was a fucking orgy. And they had like security guards. There was like rich people. There was a Bitcoin dude there that was like super fucking rich. I mean, I had no business being there. I was like the lowest of the lowly there. And they wanted me to sign a non-disclosure. I walked in, I stayed for like 5 minutes. They tried everything to keep me there, begged me to stay and watch or do anything. I was there for like, maybe like, I don't know. I finished a beer and left and didn't participate or do anything except leave while they begged me to stay. So some crazy shit goes on, dude. And I think that's where they get you, right? Like you're low, you're nobody like myself, you're a podcast, you get invited to one of these parties, they talk you into doing it. Luckily, they caught me at the wrong time because I'm a husband and I have 4 kids, and I still have the morals and ethics and values of a police officer. And I've made a commitment to myself that I would never do those things. I will never, I don't want to be a politician. I don't want to move up. I don't want to be any more famous or any less famous than I am now, which I'm not really that famous, but 2.3 million downloads. People hear my voice. I don't need to go any further than this. I'm completely happy. I don't want a bigger house. I don't want a boat. I'm settled. I'm fine. But I think what they do is they find somebody like me. They take you to one of these orgies. They convince you to doing it. All of a sudden, they got you on the hook, dude. You've cheated on your wife at this orgy. So, hey, man, you need to come to this party. Well, I don't really want to come to this party. Well, why not? Well, I really don't appreciate the things that were going on. Okay, well, don't forget you fucking participated in that. It'd suck if your wife found out. And then you're like, oh, well, we really want you to make an appearance at this party. Okay, and then you go to that party. Next thing you know, you're doing ecstasy for the first time or whatever, running lines of blow. And then they get you down this rabbit hole, man. And then they own you.
Then they say the same thing. We won't tell your audience that you were doing this. You can't talk about this topic on the podcast. You can't talk about this subject, or we want you to talk about this. These are the talking points we want you to hit on.
Yeah.
And they have that over you.
Forever. And I think every single one of these celebrities get introduced into these types of parties. And that's why, what's her name that wrote her tell-all? She was in Wedding Singer, Drew Barrymore, doing lines of cocaine at 8 years old at these parties, I think they're all doing these types of parties. Paris Hilton. I mean, just look at Steve-O. Like, Steve-O doesn't give a fuck. He's of all those celebrities he names are doing cocaine, and those are the top of the game, then anybody that's going to their parties is also going to be doing cocaine because they want to be like them.
Well, you got to fit in. You got to be one of the crowd, and then as soon as you're one of the crowd, then you have dirt on everybody else, but they also have dirt on you. So it's that same, everybody's in bed with everybody else that we keep talking about, and then it's like, well, that's not true. That's not really happening. Well, no, it is. That is happening. And you have people that are talking out about it. And the question I would ask is if I were bringing this information to someone, trying to red pill them, if that's the term that you want to use, I would ask them, at what point, where is the drawing line? Where is the line in the sand that you have that much evidence? And then beyond that, we have more. At what point do you stop believing in what you're seeing on the news and start believing what you're seeing with your actual eyes?
Right.
At what point? How much? And then you go, okay, well, now I have a point that I need to get to that I can help this person understand that this is what's really going on. Because like we were talking beforehand, I'm like, I got family members I don't really talk to anymore because of all this stuff that's happened in the media in the last couple of years. And my own blood brother, I don't talk to that much because of the stuff that's happened in the media and the vilification of law enforcement. And he was on board with it. And I told him, I said, you realize that you were just talking shit about me. He goes, well, no, you're different. I go, no. You don't get to put everybody as a bastard asterisk, but my brother. That doesn't play. You just called me a bastard. You just called me a murderous, racist killer. I have not had any of that in my career. And I know people that I know that you have worked with cops that are bad cops that shouldn't have been wearing a badge. I know that there are cops.
To be honest with you, no.
Not necessarily bad, like racist or anything like that.
There are cops that I didn't agree with, but none of them at the Raleigh Police Department, aside from ultra management, like chief down, but they're no longer cops. I don't count them because they're answering to the city manager. They're playing this whole political game that we're talking about right now. But street level cops, I never met a cop that I said that is a corrupt and foul dude. He should turn in his badge.
Oh, not I mean, so not corrupt and foul, but maybe they shouldn't have graduated. They shouldn't have graduated the academy.
Suck at their job, sure. They're just
they suck at they're a liability for they're unsafe. They're a liability. Like I've worked with people like that, and I know that you've worked with people like, but they're not. They're a liability though. They're not racist. They're not corrupt. They're not. They're just. They shouldn't be in that job. Like there are cops that shouldn't be cops. That's what the hiring process is for. That's what the academy's for. That's what the field training program's for. That's what should have weeded out the Memphis.
Like all those cops in Memphis.
They should exactly. They should have never got to that point. But there's going to be people that slip through the cracks. But it's never even the guys in Memphis with the stuff that we're seeing. Like I'm taking all of the stuff that I'm seeing with a grain of salt, but it sounds like every day something more comes out. Like there's a rumor and another thing comes out and a rumor and another. Maybe. But
the problem is that these rumors get substantiated. They get backed up.
Yep.
Like. Oh, the rumor has it that this happened. And then, then a couple, and then the problem is that the media gets out in front of it. And people don't really find out the truth. I mean, the fact that Biden let this 9/11 terrorist guy go that had direct ties to the Indonesia thing. And after 16 years, I mean, could you imagine if you or I, think about these guys that are doing the January 6th stuff. If they could figure out, if they could put blame on that officer having a heart attack on one individual, that dude would be in jail for life, not 16 years. And this dude helped carry out the 2003 attack in Indonesia, and he did 16 years in Guantanamo Bay. I mean, the thing is you don't see the right making decisions like this, and which makes me like go full right now. But I also understand that the right is very corrupted as well. And I understand that, but there is a deliberate attack on morals, values, and this country as we know it. I don't know why, but there's no reason to me that Afghanistan pullout was proof enough. You don't pull out of Afghanistan in the middle of the summer. Not when 4 months later it'll be too cold for anybody to give away. You don't give up Bagram, which is like the key to the Middle East, baby. You don't just give it up, and you don't give it up in that fashion. You don't give it up in that way. It's like we are setting ourselves up for failure on purpose. Like let a Chinese spy balloon come all the way across Alaska, go all the way around Montana, drop all the way down over North Carolina and exit out the South Carolina coast. And you're fine with that over the whole country. This shit is on purpose, man. There are powers at play that are trying to ruin this country on purpose.
Well, then you have to get with the China stuff. If you Google China balloon, and your just searched and scroll down, it'll have stuff about China and Biden. It has a specific section about China and Biden. I didn't put anything about Biden in the search. I didn't put anything about, I just put China and balloon, and it'll have, why does the Google need to put context between the relationship with our sitting president and another country who just sent a spy balloon across?
Like, what, you got something to hide, Joe? Like, I mean, you know what I mean?
Not only that, there's TikTok. That's the big one that everybody's, you look at TikTok in the United States, and you look at TikTok in China. China has math and engineering and science and chemistry. That's what they're showing their kids on their TikTok. Over here, we have get a sex change and show your ass, and this is what tits look like. Two totally different sets of criteria from the same company. But then you look at the back door on the TikTok. TikTok's already spying on us. The Department of Defense under Trump has already outlawed it.
Yeah, and you've got every first sergeant and sergeant major in the Army and recruiter posting
Police
shit on
departments?
TikTok.
Police departments?
It drives me nuts.
Like,
drives me nuts.
it's like when it's a known, it's not a secret, it's known, but we're still allowing it.
Yeah, I think it should be DOD policy that you can't, in uniform, you cannot post anything on TikTok in uniform.
I thought that Trump outlawed it off of all government, anything that has a government IP to it. So your government phones, your government computers, all that stuff, you couldn't be on it at all.
Yeah, and you think that Sergeant Major that's making his little fucking TikToks every time, like he's like TikTok viral, you think he's going to his personal phone? He doesn't even own a personal phone. Not being a Sergeant Major. But okay, so we're talking about this, we're talking about the balloon. Let's talk about this drop dead vaccine. Are people, is there a problem? Are people dying in an unprecedented number that are unexplained? Is that happening or not?
If you Google it, like I do before our shows, and you bring up the Forbes article here, have many athletes died suddenly since COVID-19 vaccine arrived? ? Such claims lack evidence. So I'll go ahead and pull the other article that's above it up. A police officer dies unexpectedly in Pemberton, New Jersey. I'll pull the next one above that up. ABC News mourns unexpected death of producer. I'll go just below it. High school senior dies after suffering a heart attack at school. And then this comes after a second death of another student. Was a 16-year-old girl died after a medical emergency at a football game. So if you go to Forbes, they'll tell you that there is absolutely nothing. But if you just look at the articles above or the articles below, there are articles all over the United States of people younger than 50 years old just having heart attacks.
Yeah, and it seems like it's getting more and more every day that we're coming out with somebody else having a new heart attack. I mean, the comedian that collapsed on stage, and they're all collapsing in the same exact manner, in the same exact way.
It's very quick, very sudden. There's no precursors. There's no onset. It's just all said, and you're gone.
Is anybody still getting booster shots?
They keep pushing them. Because I don't watch the news, but last thing, one of the articles that I read that they were talking about that the booster shots have become as normal as getting like the flu shot. Don't quote me on that, but I for sure I thought I read somewhere or was listening to somewhere that they were saying that.
Right.
Like, well, if it's as bad as if it's as bad as the flu. Because the problem that the biggest issue that we have in the country is we can't question anything. Or you're a conspiracy theorist.
I'm questioning it right now. I'm done with the conspiracy theory shit, dude. Like after the Twitter files came out, after the JFK files came out in December, dude. Like dude, call me a conspiracy theorist, baby. You're the idiot. Hey, you're the dumb that's still wearing your mask. It's like prove it not to do anything for you. And you're still walking around with it by yourself in the park. I don't give a shit what you think about me. You call me a conspiracy theorist all you want, dude. You're the idiot. You're the one that'll be speaking Chinese before anybody else does. Like I'll be the one that you come running to. When I'm laying dudes down coming across the beaches,
conspiracy theories only last about like 12 hours now. It's almost to the point now where you're within the same news cycle of the same day, the same people that gave you the story in the morning, you could debunk it by the time they're off air. And it's the problem is the media is they haven't fallen on their sword. Like, look, we fucked up. We lied a bunch about all this shit, and but they're not going to, because brought to you by Pfizer.
When raw milk, when heroin is being decriminalized, and sanctuary cities are telling you that it's okay, like we will not arrest you and we will not punish you for simply having heroin or cocaine on you, but those same cities will give you a felony for having unpasteurized milk from a cow. It's not about the safety. Did you know in Canada that you can't even possess unpasteurized milk? It's a felony.
I have to pull it up.
We buy unpasteurized milk on the black market. My wife has to literally go underground and buy unpasteurized milk and
Allegedly.
collect it. Huh?
Allegedly. That way you don't get
My
looked
wife
at.
does that. Allegedly does that. I mean, you want to bring the SWAT team to my house to check my refrigerator for unpasteurized milk. You know, bring your Bearcat and
They've rolled out SWAT teams for way less in the past 12 months.
didn't they do something like for some woman that like was protecting a deer that's like the rest of the deer family got smoked. I just think it's crazy. I think it's crazy that you can possess heroin and stuff like that. We're not going to throw you in jail for having crack or heroin, but if we catch you with unpasteurized milk, it's game over. When all the science and technology in today's world, like it's very, very easy to keep unpasteurized milk safe.
So then my brain goes back to where's the money at with this? So they're not getting enough money from the milk, or they're starting to get money from heroin, or there's some treatment plan, or there's something that some center that they're going to open, or some medicine that they're going to push something. There's some money on the back end of something. There's always money on the back end of everything. That's what I've learned with looking at all this stuff. It's all money. It's all down to money or power. That's what they want.
It's crazy though that you can't have unpasteurized milk. I mean, it's America, baby. Like, dude, I mean, like, you can smoke cigarettes, which will kill you, but you can't take a chance on unpasteurized. You can get a cocktail shaken with raw eggs, but you can't drink unpasteurized milk from a cow.
You can have a Chinese spy balloon fly over your house. We're not going to do nothing about that.
They're going to cancel you. I mean, like, it's unbelievable that you can't even have the debate. Like, why? Like, literally, like any reasonable person, you're telling me that you can have heroin and not go to jail, but if you have unpasteurized milk, you will go to jail. It makes no sense.
Because
and the fact that you can't have a conversation about it even makes less sense. Unbelievably.
It's all comes because, like here in Denver, I think Denver decriminalized mushrooms.
Right, like you can have a safe haven for people to shoot up heroin, but you can't have a midwife deliver your baby inside your house in North Carolina unless they're approved by a doctor, which means you're still having to meet all the doctor requirements, the requirements that you don't want to meet to have a baby. Don't want to have the heart monitor.
But it's approved by the doctors that they say that can approve it. Because if you have a doctor that has a dissenting opinion, they won't let him talk anymore.
You know, you can't prescribe somebody yoga for weight loss, but you can give them all sorts of shit for their thyroid and all this other stuff. But you can't give them an alternative option. Can't talk about, you know, it's great. I mean, this is a crazy world that we're living in, and we tolerate it. We're the ones that tolerate it. We're the ones that tolerate this.
It's a clown world, as a lot of people have put it.
And there's a little bit of hope inside of me that says, you know, well, knowing is half the battle, right? The more you know, G.I. Joe, the more you know, that's half the battle. So, you know, if half the battle is just spreading this information out there to let other people think about, you know, information always wins in the long run. And then that's why we thank God we have podcasts. And the minute that they start going after podcasts, like the minute that Podbean and Apple iTunes, the minute they start doing the same shit that YouTube is doing, that's when it's game on for me. That's when my switch flips, because then you're no longer allowed to give out the information, period. I know I can't do it on YouTube. Fine. I know I can't do it on Instagram. Fine. No, I can't do it on Facebook, but I'm happy knowing that I can do it on podcast. But if you take podcast away from me and I have no way of getting real information out to the world, that's when I'll start doing things on my own without the system.
How, if you think right now, take that same thing. You're not allowed to talk about anything dissenting against the whatever the theory, the narrative, whatever the story is. How much different is that than early Germany during Hitler's takeover? They wanted to get rid of guns.
Yep.
They wanted to get rid of books. They wanted it's the same kind of thing. My thought is if you let everything out there, the best of the bunch will rise to the top, because the world can kind of self-police itself. We can look at each other and go, that elevator doesn't go all the way to the top, but this person over here, I'm listening to what they're saying. They know how to start fire. So I'll go listen to them because they can keep me alive in the wintertime because it's cold. So we have the ability to look at it. We just need to be presented it in a manner that kind of makes sense. And the podcast does kind of help it. But you're right. As soon as this conversation goes away, I don't know where the country's going any more than where it's gone right now.
I mean, I think like I said, I think there's enough people that are like myself. There's enough people like the Black Rifle guys. There's enough people out there that aren't going to tolerate, but so much. My line is drawn is like when they start nixing podcasts and stuff like that. That's when I'll start taking to the streets, and you'll start seeing me actively protesting or actively trying to. And I think that's you're a lot more dangerous as a human when you are reaching people in person. And we don't forget that before there was an internet, people could mass together and protest. Even when they couldn't put it out in newspapers, they still amassed and they still got shit done. Look at the women's rights movement. Look at the black movement. Look at the gay movement. People will find each other. And there is a lot more to be done when you are real human flesh bonded together than you are, in social media chats spread out all over the country. And if you take my voice away from podcasts, then I'll do the more dangerous thing and I'll amass myself alongside of other people. You just walked in. Is amass the right word? It's a good word, right? My wife just walked in. She's looking great tonight. Assemble. And I'll just keep assembling in some way, shape, or form. And I think that's a lot more dangerous, when you start getting a lot of people together. And that's when you start having, people doing what they do with the riots and the anti-police riots. I mean, you see how dangerous they are. Now imagine if you had actually smart people out there protesting. Think about how much more dangerous that would be when you don't have a bunch of nimcompoops that are dressed like terrorists where they can be identified. Wait until you have the smart people that are under the radar that you can't find.
Passive resistance is very, very powerful.
Very powerful, man.
It's the civil rights. It's one of the things that helped push
look at
the
the
civil
Polish
rights movement.
dude, like the Polish when they stood up to the Nazis. I mean, they gave the Nazis absolute hell, and that was a group of teenagers that just said, "Yeah, we're done with this shit. Let's get some shovels and let's be smart about this." And that's where we have Warsaw. They held Warsaw for 50 something days. That little town of Warsaw fighting off an entire Nazi army for 54 days. Great. Like that's crazy shit that can go down, dude. Before we wrap up this show, I did want to talk about something else. It's crazy to me. Valentine's Day is right around the corner. This is an article coming out of News and Science from The Independent, that females are more likely to be promiscuous in cooler climates. Scientists examined female fruit flies' sexual behavior in hot and cold climates. And they put this together with humans and everything else. And just in general, females from all sorts of different animals and bugs and just females in general are a lot more promiscuous or down to do dirty deeds when it's cold outside.
How much does that translate into actual people, though?
I don't know, because spring break is not usually typically cold, but if women are more promiscuous when it's cold, that's no better hint for you than to get the ghost bed with the new cooling technology. That's just proof of why you need the cooling technology that comes with a ghost bed. Right now, if you go to ghostbed.com/wolfpack, you can get a bed with the cooling mattress and the cooling sheets, cooling pillow for 35% off. 0 down, 0% financing. And that's if you have first responder credit. So, but just remember, according to science, females are more likely to be promiscuous in cooler climates. Next up in the weird, strange news, something awesome to talk about this weekend over your barbecue. Another funeral home discovers a woman presumed to be dead, but she's still alive. This happened in a New York funeral home. No secret that New York's been trying to kill old people before it's their time for the last 4 years. What's when you got against old people? If you're old, that's why you're going to Florida. That's why all the old people go to Florida, is they'll kill you in New York. Put you down, dude. Canada, same way. You'll euthanize you real quick.
They'll invite you. In Canada, they'll give you an option. You can either wait for healthcare or we can kill you.
Yeah. 82-year-old woman was pronounced dead at a New York nursing home. Go figure. They're just desperately trying to get women out of old folks out of the nursing homes there, but found to be breathing 3 hours later at the funeral home. So they take her from the nursing home, send her to the funeral home. It's 2023. There's no excuse. How do you not tell if somebody's alive or dead before they go to a funeral home?
You don't try to get a pulse. You don't put an EKG on. I mean, there are devices that people can be a deep sleep, especially deep sleep or almost comatose. There's still function. You could
The
test.
woman whose name was not released was taken to the O.B. Davis Funeral Home in Miller Place at 1:30 p.m. Police said in a news release she was discovered breathing at 2:09. So from 1:30 to 2:09, she was zipped up in a fucking bag and dead. The woman was taken to a hospital. There's been no update on her condition. This happened on Monday. The apparent premature declaration of death occurs days after a continuing care home in Iowa was fined $10,000. Dude, I'm telling you right now, you pronounce my mother dead and you put her in a funeral home only to find out she's still alive. I'm taking you to the bank for a lot more than 10 grand.
We're going to court
Forever. The woman was placed in a body bag, taken to Ankeny Funeral Home crematory, where the workers found that she was breathing and they called 911. That's incredible. Good for them.
Imagine being there though, and you open it up, and some old lady just goes.
Oh, okay. Now I just got an update. She was returned to hospice care, and then she died on January 5th, according to the report issued last week. So this article's a little bit older. She did finally end up dying, but fuck, dude. I mean, just on principle alone, putting somebody in a body bag and sending them to a crematory before they're dead, dude, that's some dark shit, man. Like, you're paying me out.
Who pronounced? Someone had to come there with a medic, because I don't know how you guys work, but we couldn't pronounce anybody. It always has to be medical people, and they usually just take them to the hospital, and then some doctor would pronounce them there. But someone has to pronounce them dead to get them over there. So who's losing their license over that one?
Ooh, man, you ain't kidding, dude. You're not kidding, man. That's some scary stuff.
Way back in the day when I was in high school, I had my nursing assistant license, and for a brief time I did work at a nursing home, and we had some people expire while I was there. Every time we had someone, we thought, unless they had a DNR, we'd start working on them, and then the ambulance come and they would take them to the hospital. And then that's what, even if for sure that we knew that they were dead.
Funny enough, my buddy Robert Carroll texted me before the show. I haven't talked to him in a long time. He used to be a cop in Raleigh, but I watched him one time give this old man CPR. And I was like, yo, how long are you going to do this? He's like, until the ambulance gets here. And I was like, so we got in a little rotation, and I'm just thinking in my brain, like, dude, this guy is fucked. Like, one, you've crushed all of his ribs. Like, now he's really fucked. Dude came back alive. I think the guy's still alive.
That's awesome.
Guy came alive like after, dude, it was a while of CPR. I'm talking like 6 minutes probably.
That's
dude
incredible.
Came back. I don't think Robert ever got the life-saving award though for that. He should have.
Good job, Robert.
Because I would not have given him CPR that long. I would have been like, no, he's done. Like, he is cold and dead at this point, and my arms are tired. But I learned a lesson that way, that you can give somebody CPR for a hot minute and
just keep swimming.
So as long as they got a will to live, dude. Last bit in the news, the stolen yacht, the dramatic Coast Guard rescue one. I love the film The Guardians with Kevin Costner. I loved it when I was a kid. It made me want to be a rescue swimmer until I realized that rescue swimmers only rescue people, and I'm more of a fighter, right? You can't shoot drowning people. And so that's why I went the Army route. But a stolen yacht. So there was this dramatic Coast Guard rescue off of the coast of Washington, at the Pacific Northwest. And it was in Oregon, actually. And if you've seen the dramatic footage, it's all over the interwebs. Big ass yacht. And this rescue diver jumps from like 30 feet out of the helicopter, just like the movie, lands into the freezing cold Oregon winter water. That's, 20 foot, 30 foot bomb waves that are drifting in. And this one wave just absolutely annihilates a massive yacht and flips this boat over. And it's incredible. And you see this rescue diver, one dives underneath this wave. That's the biggest wave I've ever seen. The wave might have been 100-foot wave. I don't know. It's hard to tell, but that yacht was huge and it dwarfed that yacht. It's incredible footage. And they go and rescue this guy only to find out that the dude they rescued, that was a stolen yacht. And a stolen yacht, a dramatic Coast Guard rescue, a dead fish, and the famed home featured in the classic 1980 film, The Goonies. This is an incredible story. Combined, Oregon police called it a series of really odd events along the Pacific Northwest coast spanning 48 hours that concluded Friday night with the arrest of a Canadian man. This is from the alternate press. Jericho Wolf Labonte, 35, of Victoria, British Columbia, was taken into custody in northwestern Oregon resort town of Seaside. Police said in the news release, he's been pulled from the ocean hours earlier by a Coast Guard swimmer just after the yacht he was piloting capsized amid big waves. He was briefly hospitalized for hypothermia. Labonte was discharged before authorities in nearby Astoria, Oregon, saw the rescue video and said they recognized him as the same person who covered over security cameras at the Goonies house and left fish on the front porch. Police and by the way, there's been a lot of protests going on with the Goonies house. They don't want it to be, it got sold and the neighbors there wanted to just like go away. And now it's a museum or something. Police in Seaside, about 17 miles south of Astoria, said that they found Labonte on Friday evening at a homeless shelter where he was staying under an alias. They arrested him on charges of theft, criminal mischief, endangering another person, and unauthorized use of a vehicle. He was also wanted. Now that's some Oregon West Coast bullshit. So he didn't steal the boat. He was an unauthorized user of the boat. This because they don't want to charge anybody with stealing anymore, but he fucking stole the boat.
I think Hawaii was they called it unauthorized entry into a motor vehicle, UEMV.
Yeah, but that's just that's that whole left, liberal mindset of policing. 35-foot, 11-meter yacht had been reported stolen by its owner on Friday afternoon, but they charged the guy with unauthorized use, not possession of stolen motor vehicle, because they're fucking left-wing nuts. As the swimmer approached, a large wave slammed into the vessel, rolling it over, throwing the man, later identified as Labonte, into the water. Mouth of the Columbia, the largest North American river flowing into the Pacific Ocean, is known as the graveyard of the Pacific for its notoriously rough seas. Dude, it's an incredible video. If you haven't seen it, even though he arrested a dirtbag that he probably should have just let drown to death, very heroic deed by the Coast Guard rescue swimmers. Those guys are no joke, man. Those guys are no joke. It takes a lot of balls. We were talking about the ocean earlier before the show and how powerful the ocean can be. Now you're at the graveyard where this wave swallowed a 35-foot boat, and here you are at 5'10", jumping 30 feet from a helicopter that then dodges the same wave. So this wave was over 30 feet tall because it was going to hit this helicopter. So kudos to the Coast Guard pilot, the Coast Guard rescue swimmer. It sucks that Oregon's going to cut this guy loose, with no bond. But
yeah, he'll get another yacht by the time we're done with the show.
He will. Guys, this has been another wonderful episode of Last Call. Hope we gave you guys plenty to talk about over the weekend. These are all the news that you need to know, that you need to be in the know about. Something to talk about over the barbecue. For those of you who were in the paid chats that were a part of today's show, fucking hater. Corn Pop was a bad dude, tactical dude. We got M. There was a lot of people in there earlier today too. Let's see me go up here. Daniel B, Bone Cold, Fleas Austin, M34 Potato, Will Cray. There's just too many guys. I know that at the beginning of the show I was having a conversation with one of you that wasn't very active in the chats. Lumber Chef, always good to see you in there, buddy. Will Cray, if I didn't already say his name. Teresa K, that's right. Teresa K was in here. Yep. A lot of these guys going to the meetup too as well on the 12th, so that's exciting. Go buy a ghost bed. Stay informed. The more you know, better well prepared you could be.
Are we still taking reviews for the contest? Is that today?
Yeah, that Monday I will add up all the reviews for the contest. Go leave a rating and review. Trying to get 100 more reviews in 10 days, and I'm going to buy the staff some really cool hoodies. The staff really wants these hoodies, by the way. So I think right now we are at 70. Last I checked. So, if there's 30 of you guys out there that haven't given a rating and review on iTunes or Spotify, now's your chance. You have Monday morning. It takes 24 hours for them to register. So if you do this shit on Monday, it's not going to, if you do this shit on Sunday, I'm not going to see it on Monday. So it's not going to count. So you've got today, which is Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, to really get those reviews cranking, so that I'll buy hoodies for all of our staff, and it'll be really funny. Maybe I'll do something else fun and fantastical. But don't forget, Thursday we have Comm Center with Drew Breezy tomorrow, Thursday night. So if you're just listening to this tonight you have Comm Center live on YouTube. Goes the podcast on Saturday, and then Friday we have our big case breakdown. So lots going on in the world of Feather Stop. Also, Manscaped.com they're still running the promo code Wolfpack. So you if you want to get a Manscaped Wolfpack gift for Valentine's Day, Huge. The 4.0, I use it every freaking, I use it every week. I wash my hair. The shampoo and conditioner alone are worth it out of the Manscaped package. It makes me smell like a real man. And the travel bag that the 4.0 package, it's like $100 for all that. Once you use the promo code, the leather travel bag, I use it all the time. I travel every weekend. I always have my travel bag. So, and it's real leather and it's really nice. So, head over to manscaped.com/Wolfpack. If you want to listen to my children's podcast, Grommet Vomit, GROMMET, VOMMIT, they would love to hear you guys. So see you guys' downloads on there. Leave them a rating and review if you really love the show. They've got Ryan Sheckler coming up, so we're pretty excited about that. Until next time, guys, it's been Deadlike Media and myself, Eric Tansey, and we'll see you next week for Last Call of the Day.